It's a Friday. You know what that means. But before that, I'm going to give you a gift. But this gift may take a little time to unpack. And by a little time, I mean anywhere from minutes to years. Now, I ran across this quote in 1988. I know exactly where I was, and I've got extensive notes about the experience because these words had a huge impact on me. Because do you know what a paradox is? If not, look it up. But, it's been apparent for some time. How can something loom so large and be so blatantly obvious that they're difficult to see? Because looming large and blatantly obvious means it's right in front of you. How can you not see it? Well, when I came across this in 1988, it made an impact on me. You might wonder why. Well, the quote of the day I wrote in 1981, 7 years before that, and it was not a new thought. That I wonder how much of the obvious is hiding right in front of me, because by this time I had been searching for answers. Why the heck am I so weird and can't fit in, and I don't get things that everybody else understands naturally. And once I see them, they were right in front of me all the time. But I couldn't see them until that moment they were unveiled. Now that makes no sense, right? Because how can something be right in front of you and not be able to be seen? Well, 1988, 1981, 1995. It was as obvious as the blind spot in front of my face when I started to put things together. And, or do you know, each of us has a blind spot. And I'm not talking figuratively or metaphorically. I'm talking literally, physically. We have a blind spot because of the optic nerve sits in back. You can look it up. You can look up blind spot and see that, there is something right in front of you that you literally cannot see because of how the optic nerve connects to the eyeball. And our brain covers over that blind spot so that when we look in front of us, we don't see a black spot. We see that area filled in. Now, here's where it moves to metaphor. How can something right in front of us, how can something that looms so large and is so blatantly obvious be difficult to see? Now, this is one of the coolest puzzles of my life. And I became aware of it, 40, 50 years ago? And I started writing about it and trying to understand after March 14th, 1979, that Einstein episode that I told you guys about him saying an observer can't understand anything without establishing a point of reference and a frame of reference. And that's when I started my quest to discover what the heck is going on. Do I know? No, not at all. But I keep getting closer. And right now, it's not. Well, maybe it is as obvious as the blind spot in front of my face, but it's hidden from me, like so much. I'm like you. I don't see some things that are right there until after the fact. It's a human condition. And it's natural not to understand. And maybe I'll lead off with that on Monday because there's an obvious segue that's waiting in the wings. Meanwhile, it's a Friday. So this weekend, do something to make the world a better place. But before you do that, I want you to do two things. Number one, if you want your grade to change, come talk to me. Please, Oh, but you scare me, Scotchko. I can't come. Are you kidding me? It's an act. It's an act. I pretend to be this meanie so that I can control the classroom. Because face it, a room full of kids, full of computers, how do I keep you guys on task? Well, I got to pretend to be scary. It's an act. So, if you want your grade to change, come talk to me. Also, take some time in your journal to just share something that you're learning. Those of you who continue to tell me what I said in the skill buildings each day, okay, I'm glad you're paying attention, but I already know what I said. I want you to tell me what you think, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, where you want to go, and along the way, what you're doing to make the world a better place. I love you guys. We live in a strange world, but it's pretty cool. And we live in the most exciting time in history where ordinary people are going to get to play a part in helping to save the world by doing little things that matter.